When I meet a client who wants to pay the rent, support their family, pay the bills, or even pay for a vacation, it's usually the time I introduce them to Hugh McLennan's sex versus cash theory of creative work. The creative person has two kinds of jobs. The first is the fun and sexy kind, and the second is the one that's paying the bills. Sometimes the tasks are hand in hand. Sometimes we're in that zone of genius where our contribution and our impact meet our skill set in a way that provides for our family and for the lifestyle that we want to live. But on other hands, it's not the case. And there are always going to be a tension, duality between the need to make a living and the need to maintain our creative sovereignty. Now, that's easier to understand when you're young and you're just starting out and you're waiting tables or you're a cook or a busboy. Even though you want to be a famous writer or musician or whatever, and you have to wait tables, the sexy bit is being the novelist and the cash bit is being the waitress or the waiter. We all understand that. When you get a bit older and you have more responsibilities, more people that are counting on you, that tension doesn't go away. Just because you're successful, there is stuff that you have to do for money. And there is stuff that you want to do because you genuinely enjoy them. They make you feel alive. A good example is John Travolta. One year he may be in a movie like Pulp Fiction just to get his streak back as an actor. And then the next year he might decide he wants to buy a new plane, or he'll appear as a character in a forgettable big budget spy thriller or something. And if things are tight at this moment, it's time for a cash project. You can't run a business if you have no money and you only thought is, I need money. That needy energy, it can smell. People can smell neediness. People can smell desperation on you in your voice. And having that energy will send every potential client, customer running for the hills. And when you are faced with this, instead of leaning into that neediness, go out and create some cash. I know that you're creative. You can sell something. You can literally be the helper for one of your friends that's putting in a cabinet. I may say that from experience. Take on a paid project or even go back to your old day job. It may hurt the ego for a moment, but understand that seasons will happen. Some things will happen, even for a short time. I can even think of early in my coaching days that I found myself helping other people with their social media. I found myself helping a friend put in some cabinets. You do what you have to do when the passion projects aren't fueling and putting food on the table and paying your bills. So I really want to encourage you with that thought. If you were purely chasing profit, then a lot of times I feel like we've missed the mark. We have to understand that there is a tension to be held. We have to understand that it's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be beautiful. But the beauty of it is even what you're called to may not be a career. Even what you're called to may not bring you cash. And even when we listen to the voice of God and He is telling us to do something and we have this opportunity to obey, sometimes the opportunities for profit and for success and for fame aren't the obedient path we're supposed to take, and knowing the difference is really what's going to help us. It's funny, we're 2 minutes in and I forgot to welcome you. Welcome to day 6. Honestly, it almost didn't happen. I was literally helping a friend of mine today take care of installing some cabinets. And for those of you that may not know me, I am not the biggest handyman. My skill sets are much more in the digital realm. So it was definitely out of my comfort to even be helping him, but I knew he needed help. And sometimes you do the cash projects that aren't sexy because you know that it's important and it's going to move the needle forward to what you really need to do in your life. And you never know when we're willing to accept and to take a project that may not be a passion project, you never know what doors might open from that. Because I mean, I can even think of a conversation that was had today could honestly potentially lead to a future client. And you never know what could happen. You never know whose miracle is waiting on the other side of your obedience. And sometimes obedience and sometimes success is disguised as work, hard work. And it may not always be pretty, but it's going to shape you and it's going to help you become the person you've already been created to be. And I honestly could ramble on and on, but I'm running out of daylight. Literally, the sun is behind me setting, and there's some kids playing, and I love that idea of coming out here and just taking a moment. What is your sexy project? What is your passion project? And what is your cash project? And are they aligning? Are you in a space where you were in your zone of genius in a way that is fueling your life, both purpose and profit? I think the funny part about the verses, the sex versus cash, the profit versus purpose, the cash versus calling, the obedience versus opportunity. I think the beauty in the battle of it is that sometimes it's not a battle. Sometimes it is both and. And there will be a day where it can be both and. I know we serve a God that puts a but in his statement, a but God statement. Like your life may be feeling like it's a living hell, but God. There's those moments, but there's also the and moments. Like, what would happen if we truly found joy and contentment in the current season we're in? That's something that I've challenged myself with because my current season isn't exactly what I would hope it would look like. I definitely feel like I should be further along than I am, but here we are. And I don't say that in a way of chasing more just to chase more, but I say it in a way of it's very easy to it's a great metaphor. You see the fence behind me. It's very easy and it's such a cliche, but it's very easy for me to look over to my neighbor's fence and think, "Oh man, their life is better. Oh, their grass is greener. Oh, their house is nicer. Oh, their family's more put together." But what am I doing to cultivate my own grass? Have I put out fertilizer? Have I allowed the tall grass to be a security blanket and a place for all the snakes to hide? And I ask myself that in a way that I hope that you watching this ask yourself that if we're always envious and hoping to have a life of someone else, then we're missing the beautiful life that we're already living that's right in front of us. If you are unhappy, if you aren't receiving the emotional or physical, intimate connections that you hope to receive from your spouse, then I question you, when was the last time that you showed that affection to her? When was the last time you showed that affection to her? Because honestly, I mean, if we get real, if most marriages end in infidelity, how much of that infidelity could have been avoided if only there was a line of communication? If only there was a moment when something's got to change. Because the thing is, we won't ever change until the pain of remaining is harder than the pain of change itself. So if you really want to change, if you really want to get out of the rut that you may currently be in, then I encourage you to think of this theory. this whole sex versus cash theory. Think of it as in, I feel like a lot of people give up on their dreams because they don't see the profits they want to see, but they've gotten so stuck on the lag and not the lead. They're chasing the results without putting in the inputs that are going to make the outputs. And that's why I made this challenge. I'm literally making a video a day for 31 days. I'm doing this because I'm challenging myself to put in the inputs. Because every time I press record and I'm either answering a chat GPT prompt or I'm answering a question that came from you without a script, without a security blanket, without a crutch, then I'm getting better the skill of communicating. I'm getting better at the art of public speaking. I'm getting better at the art of conversation, which are all things that I value. And I think that we all as leaders, as men, as people who want to be better in relationships need that. I hope that you're getting value from these videos. I hope that you're enjoying this journey, and I really want to hear your feedback, so don't hesitate to comment. Until the next video.